Greetings, loved ones, and welcome back to my channel, and welcome back to another big sis advice. It's been a minute since I last talked about any of the topics that I'm going to be talking about in this video today, which is going to be all of the topics falling under the range of the vaginal health umbrella. You know, there's a lot underneath that, and I just wanted to be talking about all of the things today, from yeast infections to UTIs to odor, vaginal balance, BV, like all of the things. And I haven't talked about any of these things in like 2 years, so I just wanted to do kind of an updated natural remedies that have helped me video, and also just like share my story and personal experiences with all of these topics. So this all being said, please keep in mind that I am not a trained medical professional. I'm not a gynecologist. You should have a gynecologist if you have a vagina and consult them with any questions you might have. Don't just come to me and be like, Megan has all the answers, because I don't. But that being said, this is just all that I have learned personally that has helped my own body, and I hope that it helps you. Let's get into it, shall we? First things first, for this video, I really just wanted to send out a couple PSAs, okay? PSA number 1, natural odor is normal, okay? I wish I knew this in high school when I was exercising a lot and then would take off my clothes to get in the shower and be like, what is this kind of smell I'm smelling? Do I need to go see a doctor? It's like, no, honey, you were just sweating, and your vagina will have a natural odor even if you're not sweating. You know what I mean? Just going about your daily routine is going to make you smell a certain way. You're not always going to smell like a summer breeze, all right? So that's just a little PSA that I wish I knew. This all being said though, if you notice a kind of strong change in a smell or an abnormality in your odor that isn't natural, that isn't the normal way that you smell to your own self, and you're like, what is that I'm picking up? You should probably go and see a medical professional, okay? Don't just be like, well, oh, it's probably fine. It's better safe than sorry to just go and get stuff checked out. That's such a lesson that I've learned throughout having a vagina. My second PSA is that discharge is also normal. The first time I ever noticed discharge, I would look at my underwear and be like, there's definitely something going on over here and it's not okay. I need to remove this. But actually, discharge is a completely normal bodily function for people with vaginas. There is a whole range of normal consistencies for your bodily fluids to be, from egg white and stretchy to more watery to more creamy, to all of the things, all of the terms that may make you a little squeamish, but they are normal, I will tell you that. And if you guys happen to use a period tracking app, there's most likely an option on your app to like track your bodily fluids, just so you know at what point in your monthly cycle you are, whether you're going to be ovulating, whether you're about to get your period, whether you just finished your period. All of your fluids throughout the whole entire month are telltale signs on your body's health and where you're at in your cycle. So it's actually very healthy and normal. Don't be alarmed. But of course, that all being said, if your discharge is kind of more, I don't know, thicker, or just a different consistency than you're normally seeing, or if it's a different color, some kind of a yellow, or maybe, you know, a darkish, more coppery color, you should probably go and see somebody about that. But I do want to say that you can have kind of more brownish discharge at the end of your period because your body is still getting rid of the last remaining blood. So if you're seeing that towards the end of your period, it's probably not anything out of the ordinary. But if you're constantly having discolored or abnormal discharge, I would go and see somebody about it. And also keep in mind that having a frequent itch you can't scratch, you know those commercials, that itch you can't scratch? If that is happening to you all the time, you're always constantly itchy down there and you're always getting frequent yeast infections, that's not normal. I learned this the hard way, my dudes. I had a very odd balance in my body for a couple of years there, and here's my story, okay? So I started taking hormonal birth control back in like 2017 consistently, and my body just did not jive with it. It was like, please stop doing this to me. My hormones were totally out of whack. My body odor was out of whack, like just even from my armpits. I was having some weird kind of heightened mood swings that just weren't normal for my own personality. And also aside from that, I was getting a lot of weird vaginal balance issues, and I was like, what the heck is even going on? So I stopped taking hormonal birth control, which I want to make an entire video about, so let me know in the comments down below if you would like to see that, and we can chat more about all of those things. This video isn't really about birth control though. But anyways, after I went off off of HPC, I got a IUD in place, and then my body ejected it. I have a story about my insertion and the ejection from my body, which I will put in the description box if you guys haven't seen those. And after that all happened, I was like, what even the heck is happening? And my body just went out of whack completely. My hormonal balance and my vaginal balance was just completely all over the place, to put it blankly. And honestly, various symptoms from hormonal and vaginal imbalances in my body happened to me for about 2 years. I just couldn't put my finger on like what exactly was going on. And so I would constantly go to the gynecologist and they would be like, I don't know, I can't really help you. Hello, I'm coming to you from editing because I forgot to include this in the video, even though it was in my notes. Dang it. Anyways, I wanted to say that through going to gynecologist visits and trying to find answers, I actually did kind of come to the conclusion from seeing gynos that I did not have BV. I didn't have bacterial vaginosis is what BV is. And there's a lot of symptoms that kind of go and kind of coincide together where you're not sure if you have BV or if you have a yeast infection. But we knew that it wasn't BV because I didn't have any burning in that area or like a thin grayish discharge. So I just wanted to say that. But if you do have those issues, I would definitely go and talk to your doctor about BV and trying to get testing done. I got tested for all of these things. I got tested for BV, vaginitis, yeast infections, UTIs, all of the things. And throughout those 2 years, sometimes they would be like, we found yeast in the test, so it is a yeast infection, yes, yes. And then other times they'd be like, we found no yeast, I don't know. And I was still itchy, it was so weird. And I just was receiving little to no answers. So I tried everything under the sun when it came to natural remedies. I bathed in apple cider vinegar. I would do like sitting soaks in that in the bath. I would massage on a mixture of like diluted tea tree oil in coconut oil and like put it on externally. I would use anti-itch creams, and all of it was almost like a temporary band-aid to the issue that was actually underlying. And I was just sitting there like, please, anything, anybody, help me. I tried like all of the over-the-counter things, all of it. And all this being said, I eventually came across a brand called PhD, which is a brand of boric acid suppositories, and also happens to be the sponsor of this video, which I'm so stoked about because I genuinely used these like last summer to help me with maintaining my vaginal health and just general balance. And I was like, oh my gosh. When they found my channel and approached me, I was just like, of course. I mean, I actually did use that product and it actually did help me. So I wanted to talk about them today. And if you guys don't know what boric acid is, it is a natural compound found in seawater actually, and it's many people's go-to safe and effective remedy for just all things maintaining vaginal balance. And PhD has a range of vaginal health products, but I specifically used their boric acid suppositories in this little case here, along with their little applicators here. So I'm just gonna show you how they work. You just place the little suppository inside of the applicator here, and this applicator works basically like a tampon applicator, and so you just kind of like shoot it up in there. You see the suppository coming out, it'll go up in you and then it'll dissolve. And you preferably want to do this at night, okay? And these plastic applicators can actually be washed in warm soapy water and reused, but there's 5 in the pack and they all come like sterile and packaged and everything. But I just wanted to mention that because my sustainable self wants to remind you that even though some people might throw these away, you could always wash them and reuse them on a rainy day. But truly, this remedy was one of the very, very few that actually helped me. So I will link these down below if you guys want to check them out. If you also are looking for a little something to help you with maintaining your vaginal balance, baby, because I get it. But aside from doing all of that boric acid research, I also found a lot of resources linking gut health to vaginal health. And so I was doing so much reading about just microbiome eating and just making sure that you're getting these prebiotic rich foods in your diet. And I eventually just realized that my diet was a huge, huge factor in what was going on down there. And it makes sense, right? You're like, oh, wait, what I'm putting into my body and intaking directly affects what's coming out of my body, such as fluids and things, you know? So I needed to change my diet. I was like, oh snap. What I'm eating is mainly sugary baked goods, homemade cookies, all of the things, fake meat substitutes. Like, my health was not in check, you know? And so So I also tried so many things under the sun related to gut health. I was like, all right, I need to be drinking kombucha and drinking kefir and making sure that I'm getting those prebiotic rich foods in my diet and fermented foods such as sauerkraut and kimchi and freaking tempeh and all of the things. I even stopped drinking alcohol for a period of time. I stopped drinking caffeine for a period of time. There was a month or so where I did a low sugar, low carb diet as well. And that was one of the hardest things I have ever done. And it really, all of these things just kind of taught me that obviously moderation is key when it comes to alcohol intake and sugar intake. And that's just what I always would come back to, is like, I don't need to cut these things out of my diet completely because I would be unhappy if I did that. That just didn't make sense for me and my personal joy that is food and drink related, you know? So I was like, this is just not going to be the solution. I need to figure out how I can integrate this kind of mindset into just my daily habits. Because it's also important to keep in mind that like sudden and dramatic changes in your diet can be really hard to actually implement and stick with because your body is so used to actually having those things in your diet, and then when they're completely gone, you know, from like 100 to 0, you're like, I really miss it. I miss it so much. So those kind of harsher diet plans and stuff didn't actually really stick for me, and more so just the idea of healthy microbiome eating and like at least having a few meals a week that are like very prebiotic food rich and dense in nutrients. Those things stuck with me. And also just like eating from my garden and like just being generally healthier. So definitely healthy food and fruit and veggie intake was huge in helping me as well in just making subtle changes, you know? Also, some other just kind of random things that helped me along the way with maintaining my vaginal balance was not wearing panties every day, which is maybe kind of like alarming to some. You're like, wait, what? But hear me out, okay? Lots of panties, especially ones with like foreign materials, you know, that's all rubbing up on there, can be very constricting, and the environment that that creates just kind of breeds not so great of conditions. So when I do wear underwear, it's because I'm wearing like tight pants or something like that, where it would just be uncomfortable if I wasn't wearing underwear. So just making sure to wear like 100% cotton panties, that is huge. Also, taking off your sweaty or wet clothing and not just leaving it on your body to like breed some weird microorganisms in there, you know? Yeast loves an environment like that, okay? It feeds off of it, just like it feeds off of sugar. Also, something that helped me so much is not using body wash down there. Oh my gosh. I don't even use my washcloth down there either. I have kind of like an exfoliating mitt and I use it everywhere on my body except vaginally. And then I'll just use my hand in warm water down there. And it has helped me so much. There are so many minor irritations that different people's bodies can have to soaps and perfumes and sprays and toys. I make sure to clean all of my toys before and after use. I clean them thoroughly so there's not any crazy stuff going in or out of the body. It's me again. I just wanted to say that, you know, aside from toys, it's really important just to pee after intercourse. And if you don't, and you happen to get a UTI, what's happened with me in the past, because I have had 1 or 2 of them, I would always just take cranberry supplements to kind of like flush it out from my body and drink a ton of water and just like keep that up and try to keep the area clean and just like pee all the time. But I do want to say that if you have a UTI that just simply won't go away, you need to not just take the matter into your own hands. You need to go to a gynecologist and talk to them about it, because sometimes they can turn into like kidney infections or worse things, bladder infections. It can become worse than it was to start. So just better to be safe than sorry, like I said at the beginning. Just have it in mind, you know? Even things like bath bombs can be irritants for people, so just really pay attention to what you're using externally as well, because it can directly affect you internally too. But truly, just in summary, these are all of the things that have worked for me, but I haven't had an irritation vaginally since January. And the reason why I even had issues in January is because I was on a month-long road trip. I was incredibly stagnant. I was basically sitting every day except for the occasional recreational hike. So I was doing very little of actually exercising. I was eating horrible foods. I was completely out of my routine and my body was like, please stop doing this to me. So I was having some issues in January for sure. But then when I got back home at the beginning of February, I started working out consistently. I started eating healthier. My garden was flourishing. I said, hell yeah, let's get into it. Let's just keep making these nice healthy meals. I lost weight in turn, and I feel like that helped me just with like getting a routine back in place of just like keeping health at the forefront of my mind and not just being like, whatever, you know, whatever goes, because the amount of intake I was having of like alcohol and just like too much, you know, it was just too much for my body personally. And again, this is just my personal journey, but I feel like all of these things mixed together just have truly benefited me in the long run. And I really just wanted to make this to be like, here's all of it. Here's all of the tips that I've ever used. And I tried literally all of the things, and this is what I've come to. And the conclusion is just really putting your health first and being like, wow, okay, I do need to focus on my food and my gut, but also I need to exercise and move and make sure that once I do move, I take those clothes off. You know, just everything I said in the video. There's just so many things that come into, you know, your own personal health journey, but I really just wanted to compile all of these things together and share them with you if you are struggling with any vaginal health issues. 10 out of 10 would recommend trying everything in this video or a couple of the things and seeing how they work for you. I love you guys. I hope that this helped, and I hope that you are happy, safe, and well. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a big thumbs up for me. Subscribe to my channel if you're not already. Ring the notifications bell if you'd like to be notified when I upload. You can become a patron of mine if you want to support my earnings for this month and just see more from me. I upload a ton to there every single week. And yeah, I think that's it. Check out the link below if you want to check out PhD. Thanks so much for watching. Stay smiling. Bye, guys.